Good morning. Happy Thursday. What the heck happened in yesterday's Nuggets game? We got a bit of Broncos news. I'm Joey Gunnar here with Trent Finnegan. Welcome to From the Nosebleeds. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Before we get into this, the Nuggets yesterday are just, all season they've been incredible. But yesterday, not only the Nuggets, but Nikola Jokic put a little bit of an early stamp on what he's about to do for this season. 55 points, ties the season high for anybody in the NBA right now, ties last year's MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for most points in a game so far this season. He is out of his mind. He's going to win the MVP this season. I got to call it. I got to call it right now. If I don't call it early, I'll feel upset when he does win it later in the year.
Bold. I like it. He has to. And, we could argue that he should have won all 5 of the last 5 instead of only 3 of them because of voter fatigue for the Embiid year and voter fatigue for the Shai year last year. And I think the thing that I love the most about last night's game is they finally won a game when somebody went crazy. Remember, they lost the Aaron Gordon 50 ball at the start of the season. Before tonight, they were 0-4 in games Jokic scores 50 in, including the playoffs. So, and you could tell in the second quarter, heading into halftime, you're like, oh my goodness, he's going to score 50, but they're down by 5 and they're going to lose. It's going to be one of those games. But everyone really turned it on around him. I thought Tim Hardaway hit some big shots when needed. I thought the bench guys stepped up with the injuries that happened to the starters, which we'll touch on a little bit. But Jokic, man. Jokic. It's 18 for 23. 18. Do you know how ridiculous that is? That's crazy.
Over 75%. Over 75% of his shot. You guard Jokic 3 out of the 4 times he's going to make a shot. And that's not just in one game. Over the past 6 games, in this 6-game win streak that the Nuggets have going for him, listen to these stats carefully. He is averaging 35.8 points. Absurd. 12 rebounds. Of course he is. And 11 assists. He's averaging a triple-double, an easy triple-double. He's beating the triple-double mark by one stat in each one, at least. Then, on top of that, 73.9% from the field in the past 6 games. It's not just a one-game thing. Yesterday was actually better than that, and he had 55 points. And then 55.6% from the three-point range. That's better than most of the best three-point shooters you could have ever think of. I mean, sure, it's a 6-game stretch, but Steph Curry wasn't averaging that for a season. If Nikola Jokic could keep those numbers up, this might be the greatest statistical season we've ever seen from a player in the same league that Wilt Chamberlain played in.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And I think it's hilarious how I feel like we say this every season with this guy. Oh, this could be the best statistical season. Oh, wait, now this could be the best statistical season. Oh, now this one can. He just one-ups himself every time. It's awesome to watch. And even the field goal percentage, just the last 4, he shot 78%, 84%, 71%, 80%. Just in the last 4. And the big thing to me is he's not playing a lot of minutes. The last 4 games, his highest minutes in a game is 34, which is what he played last night against the Clippers. It's our guy Brad and these YouTube comments just said it perfectly. Argue with the wall. He's the best player in the league. I don't care. And for the people who want to say Shai, let's go look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 55-point game and Nikola Jokic's 55-point game.
Wait till you hear the four number differences.
Nikola Jokic last night, 18 for 23, 5 for 6 from the field, 5 for 6 from 3, 14 for 16 from the free throw line. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good's an understatement. It's pretty good. Yeah.
And now I'm gonna go look at the ref's favorite player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, his 55-point game in double overtime. He played 45 minutes that night. Jokic played 34 last night. He shot 15 for 31, so under 50% from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, that's 28.6%, and 23 for 26 from the free throw line. 26.
Almost double the amount of attempts given to Shai that Jokic made.
So he's shooting all these free throws, his field goal percentage is down, and he's doing this in way more minutes than Jokic is. And Shea's a great player. Look, he's a great player. I'm just tired. I'm tired of this argument. Shea is a step below Jokic. Nobody, especially after last night, you can't argue anyone over Jokic. And there's great players in this league. Shea, Luka, Giannis, those three are all in the MVP race with Jokic right now. But they're not on the same level. I think that
nobody is
below him right now. They're all a half step below him. It's ridiculous what he does every single night.
I think Giannis is a half step below Jokic. I think that Luka and Shea are both a full step behind Jokic. And Luka's great. I mean, Luka had a real case to win MVP back in 2024 when Nikola Jokic won it. I wouldn't have been upset if Jokic lost that MVP to Luka. However, he did lose to Embiid and Shea. Both of those people have one thing in common. They both got that whistle in their back pocket. They both, you know how they are. They're flopping around. They're jumping around. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander could never, and I don't want to sit here and hate on Shea too much because I do like certain aspects of his play style. I love players that play in the mid-range, players that thrive in the mid-range, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander does that incredibly well. But the whistle there that he gets is really annoying. And imagine if Jokic got that whistle. Imagine if Jokic got the Shea treatment. Imagine if Jokic could go out on any given night and get 15 guaranteed free throws. He would be more than unstoppable, more unstoppable than he already is. And he doesn't get that. We know that he doesn't get that whistle. And it just goes to show how much better he is than any other player. He's getting his points on the court rather than at the line. That's what separates the great players from the good players, the real MVPs from the voter-fatigued voted MVPs, the Derrick Roses. I'm not going to lie, Derrick Rose was a voter-fatigue MVP. Steve Nash, a voter-fatigue MVP. Those kinds of guys just don't have that same skill that players like LeBron James did against Derrick Rose or like Kobe Bryant did over Steve Nash. And maybe I'm throwing too much shade at them, but when we look back in the record books, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's MVP over Nikola Jokic is going to be looked at as one of the more upsetting and one of the worst MVPs ever given out to a player. And it just sucks. It sucks to say that because Jokic should have more. And now is when we have to start opening the dialogue as to change away from the best player in the league, which we know he is, to maybe the best player of all time. It is. I don't know if it's too soon to say that. I don't know. Like he really I don't know any player that you can put up against Jokic and say that they're better. LeBron James cannot stop Jokic. He's been beat in the playoffs by a sweep and a gentleman's sweep when Nikola Jokic is in his prime. Michael Jordan could never stop Nikola Jokic. He could never. He couldn't even dream about it. I mean, is it time to be okay with that conversation?
It's interesting too, and that conversation, I think that there's two different ones. There's the best player of all time, and then there's the greatest player of all time. And the best player are guys who don't have the rings, you know. But the greatest players are the guys like the Duncans and the Bill Russells and the Jordans who were great, and they have that winning pedigree as well. And that's the one big, I don't want to say big, that's the one knock on Jokic right now is that he only has one title. And here's the thing. He doesn't have a Pippen next to him. He don't got a D-Wade next to him. He doesn't have Magic Johnson or Kareem next to him. You know, he's doing this. And that's no shade to Jamal Murray or Aaron Gordon, but like those guys aren't Hall of Famers.
And he's never played with an all-star.
He's never even played with an all-star. And like a lot of these all-time greats who have 4 or 5 rings, they're playing with Hall of Famers next to them en route to these rings. And Jokic is playing with some dang good guys in the starting lineup. But yeah, and you know, I think that Murray and Gordon are both building a good early all-star cases here. But we're talking about all-stars. And then, like, you look at the LeBron team, and I'm not trying to get into the super team argument. I'm just saying, like, you look at D-Wade's a shoe-in Hall of Famer. I think Scottie Pippen, you know, you look at all these teams. All these teams have multiple Hall of Famers on them. The Nuggets don't. So I think right now, Jokic is higher in the best of all time argument than the greatest of all time argument. But if he can get another ring or two, I think he leaps up really, really far in the greatest. But I mean, you look at it. I mean, let's talk about the centers right now. I mean, I'm not putting anyone ranked. I'm just putting a pool of players. You got him, Shaq, Hakeem, Kareem, Wilt, Bill Russell. Like, I think it's him. I think it's him and Kareem right now. I think it's him and Kareem at 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
And then Shaq at 2.
The greatest centers is different for me than the greatest of all time, because I've got my list and Kareem's at 3 in my list and the greatest players of all time. But when you're talking about the best centers of all time, I got to put Shaq first, and then it's Hakeem and Jokic tied for second. So that's where I've got it. Kareem's up there, Bill Russell's up there, but they just played to the best of their ability in that era. Hakeem and Shaq could both dominate in, I believe, any era. I mean, Hakeem's footwork is much like Jokic's. Jokic, I think, has better footwork now than Hakeem, but back when Hakeem was playing, there was nothing stopping that little bang bang fadeaway.
A little dream shake.
Yeah, dream
nothing
shake.
Stopping it.
Yeah,
and the other thing too with Jokic that doesn't play into his favor is you look in the 80s and it's like, who really had a great chance of taking down the Lakers every single year? You look in the East, who in the 90s, who had a great chance of taking down the Bulls every single year? Like, the league wasn't as talented. And now you look, we have 7 different champions in the last 7 seasons in the modern NBA right now.
The parity is amazing.
It's just such a talented league, and that's something that Jokic has to fight against to get these rings. And I don't think that gets taken into account. Kareem's got however many rings. And it's like, yeah, Kareem had to beat the Celtics. That's all he had to do was beat the Celtics those years. I'm going to say, but this year, I mean, these years, Jokic, he's got to go through these good Wolves teams. He's got to go through these good Thunder teams. He went toe-to-toe with those good Clippers teams, and he doesn't have as much help as those guys. So it's, in my eyes, like, trying to compare across eras is almost like an apples to oranges, but I mean, he's got to be top 3 centers already, and he's 30, 31. It's not like he's like at the end. Like, he's still got plenty of good years left, and he's already a top 3 in my eyes, and he should be top 3 in a lot of other people's eyes.
Yeah, and he's not in his prime yet. I mean, we were saying that earlier, every single year it seems like he improves. He improves. Yeah. He gets better every single year. When is this guy's prime going to finally hit, where he starts to go on that downhill turn? When is that going to happen? I don't know if it will in his NBA career. It just seems like the way that he plays, that slow, not very athletic play style, is something that you can continue to play with for a long, long time. But with your conversation about the East and the West and how difficult it is, that's why I feel like the MVP, like Jokic excels at that. Like, he might be given a better shot to win the MVP because of what he plays in the West. You look around the West, and just to look at Giannis first in the East, there's not as much competition in the East. So it makes Giannis look better against these teams, but people are going to be like, okay, the East is whatever. Like, there's not much competition out there. The Magic, the Pistons were one of the worst teams in the league 2 years ago.
Hey, don't hate on the Pistons. Don't hate. I'm on the Pistons train.
I like Cade.
I'm on the Pistons train.
That's fair. But still, they're one of the worst teams in the league 2 seasons ago.
The Pistons are not as good as the Lakers, the Wolves, the Nuggets.
Exactly. Yeah. You look at the Lakers. You look at the Wolves, the Thunder, the
Spurs,
the Spurs,
the Rockets.
Victor Wembanyama. The Rockets have one of the tallest starting lineups of all time. So you have this tremendous set of teams in the West, and Jokic has to run through all of them. And so far, he's doing a great job. Remember, last season, the Nuggets went to Game 7 against the Clippers. They almost lost the Clippers in the first round, and they went out and just made a statement yesterday. They made a statement topped by a Nikola Jokic 55-ball game. There is nothing in my mind that says Nikola Jokic won't win the MVP this year. It just feels like this is his year to win both. We haven't seen him win an MVP and a finals MVP in the same season, and this feels like that year. I mean, the way that he's playing, nobody can stop that guy. Not now, maybe in a couple of years when Victor Wembanyama starts at his prime, but as of now, nobody's going to be able to stop him. And I can't wait to see what that first Thunder matchup looks like, because that's going to be must-see TV.
And it's not till February, which a lot of people were talking. I saw it on Twitter last night, and they're like, dang, like the league really made us wait till February for Nuggets Thunder. But I like that, some of these early season matchups are weird, and you got teams still kind of figuring out, like the Thunder without Jalen Williams right now. So I kind of like it being late in the season because you get these teams who, especially the Nuggets, like Cam Johnson's still figuring it out, like they're still getting new guys kind of roped into the system and whatnot. It hasn't even been a month yet. So I like how that matchup's late in the season because I think those teams will be really they'll have a lot of chemistry built up, much more than what they've got at this point in the season, and hopefully the health is good. And I'm grabbing the popcorn for that one. All four of them. I'm grabbing the popcorn for all 4 of them.
Those are going to be must-see TV games. But luckily, we do have a must-see TV game coming up this weekend, and that'll be the second chance for the Nuggets to see the Timberwolves this season. But it'll be the first chance for the Nuggets to see Anthony Edwards. And the Timberwolves are debuting their new Purple Rain jerseys. And as somebody from Minnesota who wants to hate on the Timberwolves, I can't hate on those jerseys. Have you seen those jerseys, Trent?
Oh, they're so nice. They are so nice. What's the court? Is they have a custom court with that too?
Yeah, so it says Wolves there, and then it's got the Prince logo on the court underneath the Wolves. It is one of the best fan service designs I've ever seen. It's so cool.
That's really
I want to buy one of the jerseys. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not saying that because I love the Timberwolves. I'm saying that because I'm a Jersey guy and I'm a Minnesota guy who loves Prince. And how can you not love Prince? Come on, you gotta love some Prince.
Exactly.
But that's all the good stuff that came out of yesterday. But unfortunately, we got to talk about some bad stuff. As we had a few starters in that Nuggets game go down with an injury, and hopefully they'll be back for that big matchup on Saturday.
Yeah, Christian Braun rolled his ankle just 6 minutes into that game, 16 minutes into that game. ESPN changed how they show the box score. 16 minutes in, Christian Braun rolls an ankle, and he was limping around. He was not moving at all. They got him out of that game. And Cam Johnson, just 8 minutes into that game, it looked like a hand or a wrist. It was weird. I couldn't tell exactly what it was, and then the Nuggets called it a right arm strain, which is one that so then maybe did he get just like his forearm muscles messed
too hard
up?
On the shot, or what do we do here?
I don't know, but that was an interesting one. So there's obviously they got 2 days off. They don't play till Saturday. It would be nice for those guys to play against Minnesota, against Anthony Edwards, especially Christian Braun. You'd like to see Christian Braun play against Anthony Edwards, for the defense factor, but I thought the bench guys, they really stepped up in the second half. It was a little rough, the rotation got messed up. They fell behind that second quarter, but you know me, I'm a Spencer Jones truther.
He looked good.
Plus 15 in 15 minutes.
I was watching
Spencer
it,
Jones.
Yeah.
And he hit 1 3-pointer. He only took 1 shot. It was a 3-point. He did commit 5 fouls, so we got to work on that, but Spencer Jones was doing all the little things. Tim Hardaway was a plus 24. I mean, I don't know how many times we can say good stuff about Tim Hardaway and what he means for this team. So
much. I love him.
And,
I'm buying his jersey. I have to.
But then you look, it's like those two are good. I thought Watson was good. And then Valanciunas was a minus 10. That stretch he had was like, ooh, without Jokic in that second quarter. But one thing that I was concerned about last night was Julian Strawther. He was a minus 16 in 11 minutes. He was 0 for 3 from 3. He had one where he was wide open in the corner for a catch and shoot, and he airballed it long into the right. And it's just like, this is supposed to be your sharpshooter off the bench. You're now going to need him. You're going to need him to step up at times in the regular season just to get them to the playoffs, especially even more so now with these injuries. And he just didn't have it last night. And so it's like, you look like, hey, like Spencer Jones looks good. Hey, Tim Hardaway looks good. Valanciunas is kind of he gives you good offense, but maybe the defense lacks at times. But then it's like, hey, you're going to need to rely on Strawther. And how much of an NBA player does Strawther look like right now? That's a little bit concerning. The rotation will be a bit concerning, but hopefully Johnson and Brown aren't out for too long.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at what they've been providing on offense all season, and it's been basically nothing. Their offensive output has been 0. However, their defensive ability has been carrying them. Cam Johnson's defense has been outstanding.
Yes.
The pick and roll defense, I believe he's allowing I don't have the actual number, and I don't want to make up the number, but he's allowing a very, very little amount of points. It's something like 0.5 points per every pick and roll possession he guards. And it's around that same number for every regular possession in one-on-one that he guards. So he's allowing very little points when he's guarding players one-on-one or in the pick and roll, which is great because those are the first two things that players look for after the play breaks up. So him being out defensively is a loss, but offensively, there are definitely players on the bench that can fill the roles of those two guys. I'm thinking if they are out, a Tim Hardaway Jr. and Bruce Brown end up starting for that game. But having those guys out there for pure defense purposes is almost a must. I don't know how much we've seen from this Timberwolves team, how good their offense is, or if they're kind of just lacking on the defensive end because they're not having the best season so far. They haven't gotten off to the hot start that they were hoping to. But it'll be a challenge. This will be the challenge. Obviously, the Nuggets beat the Timberwolves for the first time in 2 years. The last time that they played, and again, that was without Anthony Edwards. So flipping the script here, Nuggets beat the Timberwolves when they were without their best player, and now the Timberwolves playing the Nuggets without two of their starting five players. Hopefully they can pull through. I believe in the Nuggets. I really do. This is their chance to win it all. They can beat anybody when they play the way that they do, when Nikola Jokic is playing the way that he does. So I don't have too much worry about that game, except for the fact that those two guys are out. But we should move on because we got some stuff to talk about for the Broncos, and I know you have some opinions on this. But the Broncos brought in a familiar face, Lil Jordan Humphrey, coming back to the team, signed off of the Giants practice squad, looking to fill a role that maybe is needed. Do the Broncos actually need a Lil Jordan Humphrey? I don't know, but clearly Sean Payton wanted him, and that's because he's Sean Payton's guy. Sean Payton loves a Lil Jordan Humphrey. What do you think, Trent? I know you're opinionated on this.
So Trent Sherfield did not practice yesterday with a toe injury, so I think that this is going to be their corresponding move. I don't know how serious this Sherfield toe injury is, but we know Sherfield's a core 4 special teamer, and he's a good blocker. And Sean Payton loves to have some good blockers out there. And Lil Jordan Humphrey, he's big. He's a big body. He's 6'4", 225.
Yeah, he's not little.
And he spent the first 3 years of his career with Sean in New Orleans. Then he went to New England. Then he spent the last 2 years in Denver with Sean again. And then he's been on the Giants practice squad this year. Do you know, the Giants wide receiver corps are not good. And then they lost Malik Neighbors, and this guy still only had 10 targets this season. That tells me a lot right there. And you saw it. You've seen it with the Broncos. It's not like he's going out there and doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. In 2 years, he had 44 catches on 64 targets for 455 yards and 4 touchdowns. And a lot of that yardage came on a play in the final game of the season against the Chargers in 2023, when it was a game that meant nothing because both teams weren't playing for anything, and Humphrey had a 70-yard touchdown in that one or whatever. But it was a little confusing to me at first. And, if this is the corresponding move for Sherfield, then it makes sense still. But it's just Sean loves his New Orleans guys. Will Lutz, Darren Rizzi, Lil Jordan Humphrey, and Adam Schefter said that Lil Jordan's expected to play on Sunday. So we'll see. He's going to have to go from being in the Giants practice squad to playing on offense, on a struggling offense against the Chiefs defense. And again, he's a fine player, but this offense has been lethargic. This offense has been tough to watch. Is Lil Jordan Humphrey going to change anything? No.
If he does, then we have bigger problems. We have
bigger problems. But, he might block some people, and he might be able to help get RJ Harvey going in the screen game, I guess. But maybe he'll be able to line up in a tight split and help block in the run game. But I guess it's a fine signing. It's just not a needle mover, and especially with all the injuries at linebacker. They just put Kareem Reed on IR. Alex Singleton, we don't know how long he's going to be out. So you're rocking with Greenlaw and Strnad right now. It's just and I guess Lavelle Bailey is your third linebacker, who's fine. I like Lavelle Bailey. I thought he was solid in the preseason, but it was a bit of a puzzling move for me.
Yeah. Well, Sean spoke on why they made the decision, and he said, quote, "I think just as we're into this run, having depth, we know the player really well. One of his strengths is a football IQ. He can play a lot of different spots, and I think we had the roster availability." So we'll see how that plays out, but you know exactly what you're getting from him, and that's a real good trait to have as a player. Then you can put him in these places where he could excel. It was unusual seeing him on the opponent's sideline a few weeks back, but we're glad to have him back, end quote. So very Sean Payton, just saying his football IQ is good. We want to have him back on our sideline. Didn't give any real explanation as to what they're going to use him in. Like, what are they really looking at? Like, is he going to be a special teams player? Is he going to be used in that screen game? And if he is, then that's fine. But this is not a long-term fix. This is not a real medicine to save that this team's offense. This is a piece that's being added to play maybe 20 downs in a game, 20 snaps.
You'd hope. And I mean, I'm thinking the first thing I thought of was, what are the odds that Sean Payton rolls out Lil Jordan Humphrey, Tyler Bidet, and Mercedes Lewis on the same play? Just all his fun third stringers that he won't give up on. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen on like some 2nd and 4 in the second quarter, and they're gonna go backwards, and the drive's gonna get killed. He loves these depth guys so much, and I get the high football IQ thing. You know, this is the NFL. A lot of people who make it to the NFL have a high football IQ. I know that's a crazy thing to say, but like, it's just puzzling. Just puzzling.
I would hope that if you're making it to the NFL, you have at least a little bit of football IQ.
Yes,
you know how to play the game. You know how the game works. It's strange. It's not going to really move, like you said, it's not going to move the needle, but it's something. It's something that happened, and it is important to have positions filled in which you might need, especially taking into account what this injury report looks like for this upcoming game, because the injury report's not great. It's not great, Trent. I mean, there are problems that both teams are addressing, but the Broncos seem to be addressing more issues than the Chiefs. I mean, with J.K. Dobbins out, just as the cherry, like the big name there, that's going to really hurt the team.
Yeah. And we knew Surtain was going to be out. We knew Singleton was going to be out. We knew Nate Atkins was going to be out. But then like Sherfield was a DNP yesterday. Jonah Ellis was a DNP, which I just feel bad for him. I feel like Jonah Ellis has been on this injury report so much this season. I think he's a good player, but he just hasn't really gotten a chance this season. So that's tough. And then you got Garrett Wallow, full practice, Jonathan Cooper, full practice, and Marvin Mims, full practice, which I thought was great to see. But
that is,
yeah, like important tight end and Adkins. We talked yesterday about how important Dobbins is. Just said Ellis is a good depth piece. Sherfield is a core 4 special teamer. He's a lot more important than he gets credit for, because he doesn't fill the box score because he's doing all the special teams work. And we know how important Singleton is. We know how important Surtain is. It's rally the troops, get the depth guys ready to roll, because it's put up or shut up time, and they're going to have to get thrown into the fire in the biggest game of the season.
Yeah, and you got to think that part of this is because of the late bye. I mean, it's a really late bye. Injuries are bound to happen, and they just keep building. And when you're 1 week until your bye, that's this far down the line in the season, injuries are bound to happen, and they're bound to pile up, and that's what the Broncos are up against. But really, that J.K. Dobbins is the main point. He has been, as we said yesterday, the most consistent and the most reliable part of this team, the biggest piece, honestly, of this team. And that's on the same team as somebody with a Pat Surtain and a Bo Nix and Nick Bonito. He is the most important player, arguably, on this team because of the fact that he is the only one generating offense consistently. And he was not put on IR yesterday. So he was not put on IR, and Sean spoke on that saying, quote, "Nothing has been decided yet, and at some point there'll be more clarity with him and some of these other players." So not putting him on IR, that's a good move for us, at least. It's good and makes me feel better that he will be back sooner rather than later. Likely not going to play this week, and then you get the long bye. You have a long break where you're not playing football, and you're back at it again. So hopefully you can be back at that, but then we just move towards RJ Harvey. Can he pack up and be that guy? Can he step up right now against the biggest opponent that the Broncos have faced all year?
I think he can. Like, he's a good runner. He's a talented runner. He was dominant in college the last 2 years at UCF. And we talked yesterday, is Sean going to trust him? That's all it comes down to. Is Sean going to trust him? I think the line is good enough. He's not as good as a runner as Dobbins. There's not a lot of people in this league who are. That's not a knock. He's a second round draft pick. He's an older running back. He's got a lot of experience. It's not like you got some 21-year-old out here who hasn't played a whole lot of football in general. Like he's seen a fair amount of different schemes and whatnot. And I think he's a talented player. And Sean was asked yesterday about his confidence in him. This is what we talked about, Sean's confidence in him. And he said, when we drafted him, it was his running skill set, and he had a lot of touches. I was just kidding with him earlier. And then you have experience in a guy like Jaleel McLaughlin, who's explosive and been chomping at the bit. I think sometimes players are not held back, but when you are watching Pat Bryant grow right in front of our eyes, and you're starting to see that with RJ, and obviously that he'll have more opportunities here in this game. He's built, when you see his frame, he's built to last, and that's important. And I think I like how he brought up Pat Bryant, because I think you've been seeing Pat Bryant kind of get more involved lately. It's not like he's putting up like 10 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown, but you just see him out there running more routes, running some different routes and whatnot. And you just got to trust this guy. If you don't trust this guy, if you don't give him the ball 15 times on Sunday, why did you take him in the second round? And this quote shows that it looks like he's going to trust him. I'm not going to believe it until I see it, until it's the fourth quarter and RJ Harvey's got on his 17th carry of the game. That's when I'll believe it. And it's good that Payton's saying it, but I'm not going to trust anything that guy says until he actually puts it into action on Sunday.
Well, if Sean doesn't end up trusting him, then that would be the first thing that Sean and I share in common. I hope RJ Harvey could step up and be that guy this weekend, but I don't know if I trust him. I mean, this is a big game, and I don't necessarily, how do I put this, vibe with the way that he runs. I don't know. I don't know if he's proven enough to me in the run game to be confident in him to step up and take over that J.K. Dobbins spot. Now, I'm not expecting him to perform at the same level. Not at all. But outside of the short pass game where he can extend plays, I've seen one or two big runs from RJ Harvey.
The Cowboys run. The biggest one. And we've talked about it's the same thing that we've said about Bo Nix. It's the Cowboys. It's awesome. It's great that they did that. Go do that against the Chiefs and whatnot. And in that Cowboys game, yes, he had 3 touchdowns. Yes, he got Rookie of the Week. He had 53 rushing yards, and 46 of them came on one play.
That's exactly what I was saying. Yes, that's exactly right.
Right. And look, I like Harvey. I just want him to get a good chance, and this week's going to tell us a lot. But I just don't think that he's gotten the platform. And it's interesting. His 2 biggest games of the year are against Cincinnati and against Dallas. And I'm like, why is Sean giving him the light against these bad teams, but he's not look, Cincinnati had 14 carries, and then Dallas, he had 7 carries. Those are his 2 highest carry games of the season. And then you look elsewhere, it's 6, 5, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. It's why is he not getting the same opportunity against the good teams that he is against the bad teams?
Because it's the Cowboys. Because it's a bad team.
It's great, and it's awesome that he took advantage of the spotlight against those 2 teams. He did what he should have done, but he hasn't gotten a chance to go out and prove his worth against these good defenses. And this week he's going to get that chance, and I hope he takes advantage of it. I think he'll be able to, but football's not played on paper. Football's played on the grass, so we'll see.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. We will see. I can't wait to see it. I hope that he can be that guy. I hope for him to prove me wrong. That's the one thing I've hoped from RJ Harvey all season. And other than those 2 games against terrible defenses, he hasn't. Going up against the Jets and the Raiders, where was that? Where was that same energy? Was it Sean Payton's fault or was it RJ's? Because I'll give RJ the benefit of the doubt. Seems like it was Sean Payton's fault because he wasn't given enough opportunities to go out there.
And my thing with those games as well is I think I love how you brought up the Jets and the Raiders. The Broncos offense as a whole didn't give him enough opportunities because the Broncos offense wasn't on the dang field. They were just punting. They were just going 3 and out. So I think that's another story with how he's gotten opportunities, because the Bengals and the Cowboys, we know how good the Broncos offense was in that game. They were marching up and down and up and down and up and down. And when you have these long drives, you got to sub Dobbins out, give him a breather, and that gets hard. But when you're going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 5 and out, 5 and out, 3 and out, like, Dobbins gets his rest when the defense is on the field. So I think that also plays into it. So again, he just hasn't gotten a chance to go out and do his thing against a good team. And we're going to find out a lot about the Broncos' second-round pick on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it a lot, Trent. Can't wait to see it.
It'll be good.
It'll be good. But that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining. Obviously, an amazing game from Jokic. We could have talked about that for another hour. I was having so much fun just talking about his dominance. But we're moving forward. The next Nuggets game, of course, taking place this Saturday against a really good and scary opponent in the Timberwolves. And then the biggest game of the season so far for the Broncos. And that's in the same season where they beat the Eagles. They are going up against the Chiefs for the first time this year. Should be a great matchup. We'll be back with you guys again, talking about both of those things coming up and all the other things happening around Denver this weekend. But thank you guys so much for joining. We'll be back with y'all tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.